Now, there's one thing A-listers are good at. It's a messy separation.
Yeah, from Kim and Kanye to Brad and Ange, Hollywood is never short of a celebrity bust-up. So here to tell us how to keep things clean and civil is relationship expert Melissa Ferrari. Melissa, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So these Hollywood divorces, they're so public and they're so scrutinised. What narrative does that create around marriage in general?
Well, I think people do go into marriage nowadays a little bit more wary around what's going to happen. It's kind of like, not like the 1950s, that just because we get married we're going to last forever. So I think that there is a little bit more of people not feeling so safe so easily, and probably checking things out a whole lot more, well, hopefully anyway.
This sort of stuff, when you go into something like this, it's very expensive, you know, a marriage, and so's divorce. And I think people forget that. We're not all married to billionaires who are Hollywood types. So what can we learn from these rich people, though, and apply it to our own lives?
Well, I think realising, you know, divorce is universal. Relationships are difficult. Love is not going to sustain the relationship forever. You have to work at it. Pay attention. The biggest thing that I get asked is what happens in divorce, and it's usually because we have stopped paying attention to our partner. It's super important. And being aware of threats, and when I'm talking about threats, I'm talking about little T threats, the kind of threats where you may hurt your partner and you don't repair it immediately. Those things accumulate and can end in divorce.
So, of course, there's not always a global media empire at stake when a marriage ends, but for, you know, regular run-of-the-mill couples like the rest of us, should a prenup be discussed? Is that worth even sort of broaching, or can that create issues in itself?
Well, look, it can create issues, and I think it's how the couple get together and work out how they're shaped psychologically. If it's going to keep them feeling more safe and secure in the relationship, fine, go ahead and do it. But in my experience, I think if you're doing it when you don't have a lot of money, it does bring a bit of uncertainty as to are we going to last? And I think that brings in a threat that's probably not useful. So it really depends on who you are, how you are as a couple, and working out how you think about money together, and you might need a therapist to help you do that.
You're available. Kim K has actually been frustrated over Kanye, and I think this is a very common thing. It does not just for these two, but how he uses the children as kind of a manipulation tool. He's done that on social media, but a lot of other people do that just in real life. How can we keep it clean when you do have children involved?
Well, first of all, what's important is to make sure that you stay age appropriate. They don't need to know everything, you know, like just leave their little worlds as intact as possible and not drag them through this. You know, our job is to protect them and always put the kids first. You know, you're no longer really putting your relationship first, unfortunately, although it would be good if people still did through divorce, but really protecting kids.
You kind of have to work more as a team, I reckon, once you're divorced, don't you, than you would have as you were married.
Absolutely you do. If people can still have that premise of relationship first through the divorce, it's going to go a whole lot better. Most people don't do it, but I've seen people do that we've just still got to keep our relationship intact, and it can work.
OK. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard showed us how toxic things can get, right? So how do we start peaceful negotiations?
Well, I think first of all being aware that, you know, especially if you've got children, this is your child's mum or dad, and that their mental health needs to stay intact. This is really, really important. Still taking care of each other, you know, aim for that amicable, close still relationship of the family, like keeping the family intact, and being able to still, you know, keep each other safe and secure in it, because going through divorce, it just encourages so much negative stuff around your mental health. So being aware of that is super, super important because it can be an emotional nightmare.
Good advice as always, Melissa. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Wonderful.
See you soon. A lot of reflection.
I know, we're all a bit sad after that one.
I know.
I like it when you come on and talk about naughty things.
I know.
Can we do that next time?
Okay.
OK. Thank you.